Hum by His Holiness Shivaram Swami, and we are starting part 3, Prema Samputa, the Love Box, chapter 3. A little bit late today, but maybe we can finish this chapter. It's not very long. Yeah, I think we can do that. So this chapter is called Everything Ends in Bliss. And the verse that it starts with here is Vikriditam vrajavadubir idam cha Vishnu Shradan vitonu shrinuyad atavarna yedyaha Bhaktim param bhagavati patilabhya kamam Ridrogam ashvapahinotia chirena dhira. He who faithfully hears about the dealings between Lord Krishna and the gopis in the rasa dance, and who describes these activities, attains the perfectional stage of devotional service and simultaneously loses material lusty desires. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-39. So I would like to dedicate this reading to my dear friend, Krishna Priya, who left this world at around 3:15 today, and went back to Goloka, and she without a doubt has entered into these pastimes. So while we're reading about these pastimes, it gives me great joy and solace and satisfaction to know that she is somewhere there assisting. So just like the chapter says here, everything ends in bliss if you live your life in Krishna consciousness. So we begin here with Shamalata Saki saying, Navasaki, what did you say? You wonder what else could be said? Darling, please understand. Vrindavan may appear to be limited, but it has no boundaries. In the same way, although Krishna seems to be satisfied one moment, his craving for love increases the very next. Thus, there is always more to be said. Having heard Radha's personal testimony, Sri Krishna wanted more. He wanted her to prove her statements by giving practical evidence. Playing the role of a goddess, Govinda had lured Gauri into the trap of her own innocence and tasted the pleasing fruits of her love. Listen, to understand the glory of Prema, indeed to glorify Prema, let us hear the remainder of this Leela, the way it was told to me. The nectar of Prema Rasa had gradually revived Radha's parrots. Oh yeah, I remember. They conked out. Who had lost consciousness and were hanging upside down in the tree of the courtyard. Resuming their upright perch, they observed the heavenly goddess make her final request from Prema Guru Sri Radha. His supremely artistic hands folded to his heart and his head slightly bowed, Devi Krishna said with great submission, Saki, whatever you have said must be true, without a shadow of a doubt. Nonetheless, my deceitful mind is very eager to test your words. Please do not be angry with me, but satisfy my curiosity. You are here, but where is your lover? Is he at home, or is he herding cows in the forest? Unless you can demonstrate that you and Sri Krishna are one soul in two bodies, how can you expect me to believe you? Well, he's sitting right there, isn't he? Radhika smiled joyfully and took up the Devi's challenge. Hari continued, O fair-faced one, if I can witness directly how you and Krishna simultaneously think the same thoughts, you will win my irrevocable confidence. Edging forward upon his seat, Sri Krishna said, Is your lover far away or nearby? Can you bring him here just by remembering him? If you can, I shall be convinced of your oneness with him. This is funny because he's sitting there. After deeply considering the Devi's request, Sri Radhika decided to invoke the presence of her lover. Amused at this turn of events, Lalita and Vishaka exchanged glances, eager to see what Gandharvika would do next. Sri Krishna continued, Saki, the hand of fate and the nature of prema will surely restrict you from calling Krishna at will. If your elders are nearby or some demon appears, despite your mutual remembrance, it may not be possible for you to unite. Such restrictions are reasonable and will not shake my faith. Radhe, because fate has placed you in the whirl of this household, under normal circumstances you could not ask Krishna to come here. The presence of your elders would cause untold embarrassment. You therefore cross mountains of difficulties to make nocturnal journeys into the forest to meet your beloved. I understand this only too well. Having heard your lessons on prema, I also know that you will never make Sri Krishna appear for your own satisfaction. Your love is too selfless and unmotivated for such trivial pursuits. This truth I have come to realize solely by your grace. But Saki, having said all that, I still have one humble request. O restless-eyed girl, O Krishna's beloved, please hear my submission. Your elders are now absent and will not return soon. To dissipate the last traces of my doubt, remember Krishna right now and make him please us by his presence. Radha looked at the exquisite face of the Devi, whose lotus eyes were full of tears, whose complexion was like a monsoon cloud, whose lips were red like bimba fruit, whose cheeks were flushed with excitement. Her diamond earrings cast tiny rainbows upon her cheeks, and her pearl-white teeth cast beams of light upon Radha. Who was this divine being that made her heart beat so? How did this girl inspire her to open the very private places of her heart? How could this beauty plead for her to invoke her beloved's physical presence? By what power could this Devi challenge her sacrosanct prema? Radha thought, this is a very mysterious day indeed. Lowering her head in affirmation, Sri Radhika invoked her worshipable deity, the sun god. Folding her hands and assuming the gravity of a devout worshipper, she prayed, O most eminent leader of gods, please do not make me the object of ridicule. If I am unable to fulfill this request, my love will remain forever embarrassed. O my worshipable deity, O effulgent one, O fulfiller of all desires, O friend of the lotuses and lotus-like gopis like me, O witness of truth and falsehood, if Gandharvika and Giridhari are truly one soul, please let Giridhari appear before me to please my girlfriends. Giridhari is another name for Krishna, and Gandharvika is another name for Radha. King Vishabhanu's daughter closed her eyes and meditated upon her dark-complexioned lover. As she sat in mystic trance, Sri Radhika appeared to be a perfect yogini. Her senses completely restrained, her form enveloped in silence. Beholding this marvel, the Sakis, parrots, and flowers held their breath in wonder, spellbound to see such determination in the darling of Vrindavan. Sri Radha's forehead glistened with the diamond-drop perspiration of her mystic labor. Her smooth complexion glowed with an exceptional golden radiance. Large tears rolled from the corners of her closed eyes. Her saffron-red lips quivered in ecstasy. Head and back erect, her decorated braid fell down her back like a cascade of sacred thoughts. Her conch-shell-lined throat trembled from her utterances of silent mantras. Radha's entire body stirred with the ecstasies of love, for she had dedicated her entire being to summon her lover. There's a picture here. Overwhelmed by Radha's innocent display of affection, Krishna could restrain himself no longer. Seizing this golden opportunity, he rose silently from his seat, and placing a forefinger to his lips, skillfully abandoned his celestial dress and ornaments. Lalita and Vishaka were stunned with disbelief as the prince of cowherds approached Sri Radha. Before they could speak, he smiled impishly and won them over by the cunning gestures of his eyebrows. Seeing this sudden turn of events, the hypersensitive parrots became The hypersensitive parrots became overwhelmed by ecstasy and again fainted. Having made Lalita and Vishaka allies in his deceptive cause, Sri Krishna embraced Radha and tenderly kissed her again and again. At the touch of her lover, Radhika's skin was studded with goosebumps, and tears of happiness washed the kajal from her eyes. In her meditation, Radha swam in an ocean of happiness, for she knew that Govinda had arrived. Slowly opening her eyes, Radhika confirmed to herself Krishna's appearance. While he held her lovingly, she resembled a flash of lightning embraced by newly arrived clouds. Sri Radha was the greatest yogini, because That supreme being, whom great sages sought within their hearts, was now submissively kneeling before her. As Radha gradually returned to external consciousness, she feigned surprise at seeing Krishna, and freeing herself from his grasp, covered her lotus face. Lalita forcefully assailed him, saying, "Oh, you lively rake, what are you doing here? How have you mysteriously managed to appear without crossing the threshold?" Radha looked around to assess the situation. The flowers, leaves, and sun nodded in support of Lalita. Pointing to the closed gate, Lalita said, "Rogue, only chaste young ladies are allowed to enter this place. Men are strictly forbidden. Even the wind god waits outside for permission to caress the flowers and leaves in this courtyard. Since you have so boldly gained access, we consider you the leader of audacious creatures." Rising to her feet and placing her hands on her graceful hips, Lalita proclaimed, "Although Radhika is protected by Sakhis like me, you have impudently entered just as she was preparing to worship the sun. You have no shame?" She had just performed her ritual bath and was freshly dressed and ornamented. As she sat upon the sacred seat of worship, you appeared and with your touch forcibly contaminated her, whose virtues are praised by the ladies of heaven. Shaking the index finger of her right hand, Lalita playfully seethed, "Have you no fear in the sun god, the presiding deity of light? Have you abandoned the practice of religion and our well-established social traditions? Hari, Hari, it appears that you have no fear of public opinion. You have adopted the ways of a rascal. Shame, shame, shame." As Radhika turned her puzzled face from her Sakhi to Govinda, Lalita smiled naughtily and signaled to him in equivocal language, "O Madhava, today the goddess of fortune must certainly be smiling upon you. Both the lady of this house, Jatila, and its master Abhimanyu have departed for places unknown. Only we helpless girls remain here, protected by the unsurpassable strength of our chastity. O Vraj's crown jewel of libertines, perhaps you really do have nothing to fear today." Sri Krishna feigned surprise and indignation. "Why are you accusing me? I was playing innocently in the courtyard of the Goshala when suddenly I remembered Radha, and the next thing I knew, I was standing here. It seemed as though I was but a plaything in the hands of a celestial being who was entertaining himself by doing mischief. And on top of that, you want to reprimand me? Lalite, really?" Hearing the words celestial being, Radhika turned to her friend and said, "Lalite, where is that Devi? Has she now obtained the evidence she so ardently desired?" Lalita replied, "Radhe, when she saw you meeting with Sri Krishna, that goddess was freed from doubt, her heart filled with happiness. She entered the inner chambers and continues to relish the secrets of prema." Sri Krishna said, "What is going on here? What goddess are you speaking of? Will someone please introduce me to her?" Lalita remained silent. Squinting his eyes and feigning self-righteous anger, Sri Krishna said, "Lalita, it is as you said. Today fate has truly smiled upon me. In the short time since I arrived, I have unearthed your bold-faced conspiracy, and to top it off, you have the impudence to call me shameless." Shooting arrows from his arched eyebrows, Krishna said, "Yes, I understand everything now. Some perfected goddess entered this house, and by pleasing her, you acquired a special mantra. Reciting this divine incantation, you managed to influence me, who am otherwise beyond all mystic charms. Then, by chanting this mantra daily, you plan to force me into slavery and make me your helpless puppet. How cunning!" Turning to Radhika, Sri Krishna said sweetly, "Radhe, please do not allow such fate to befall me. Instead, let me also receive this mantra from your goddess friend. Please introduce me to her." Looking here and there, Hari continued, "Or, if I am unqualified for her darshan, please take me to a secluded place. Please accept me as your disciple and initiate me yourself." Sri Radha replied with a dismissive wave of her hand, "You already possess a formidable ally in the form of your very capable flute. He has already perfected the fine art of alluring chaste housewives to your side. Of what use are esoteric mantras to you?" To this, Hari answered, "Sakhi, what you say is true. Unfortunately, some gopis have developed the annoying habit of stealing my flute. In such an awkward situation, my purposes would be well served by a siddha mantra to supplement my Venu." Lalita Devi interjected, "Our goddess friend is very shy in front of men, and upon seeing you she immediately hid herself inside. I doubt if she would leave the house to instruct you. However, if you are so eager to acquire this mantra, go inside and implore her with sweet words. If she is merciful, she may fulfill your desires." Accepting Lalita's advice, Krishna smiled at Radha and without a word promptly entered the house. Radhika exclaimed, "Sakhi Lalita, tell me the truth. What is going on here? I am doubtful about the course of these events." Lalita veiled her smile and said, "Radhe, why should you worry? We will all go with you into the house and see this fawn-like goddess finally meet Sri Krishna." Saying this, Lalita helped Radha to her feet and along with Vishaka ushered her into the palace. Sri Krishna's clever hint was like a seed sown in the field of Radha's heart, and the cloud-like Sakhi's gentle laughter was a shower of nutritious nectar. From that seed a tree of argument sprouted. That tree flourished with an abundance of juicy fruit, which quickly ripened, having been exposed to the rays of conclusive truth. In other words, as a result of Hari's behavior, Sri Radhika became doubtful as to the true course of events. The suggestive laughter of her friends further confirmed her initial suspicion. She debated within herself how to react under those circumstances. Eventually, she subdued her defiant emotions, concluding that happiness in Sri Krishna's association eclipsed all other considerations. She's like, I don't need to know the truth. I don't need to know the facts of what happened with that Devi and what's going on here. As long as Krishna's happy, it's fine with me. When Sri Krishna and the gopis failed to find the goddess, Lalita said, "Sakhi, that Devi seems to have disappeared. We are going outside to find her. You stay here and instruct Sri Krishna in that esoteric mantra. Bless him with the happiness he seeks." Smiling sweetly, Lalita turned on her heels and quickly went off with her friends. Oh. Thus it came to pass that Radhe Shyam emptied the jewel box of their love, removing its contents one by one. They decorated each other with their playful pastimes and swam in each other's beauty to their heart's content. Those saints who ornament themselves with these pastimes, hearing, chanting, and remembering them, easily defeat the god of lust. They attain the ultimate abode of Radha and Krishna. Shukadeva Goswami spoke this same truth at the conclusion of his description of the Rasa Lila. And this is the verse that we started with. Vikriditam vrajavadubir idam cha Vishno Shradhan vito nu shri nu yad atavarna yadya Bhaktim param bhagavati pratilabhya kamam Hridrogam ashva pahinotyachirena dhira. He who faithfully hears about the dealings between Lord Krishna and the gopis in the rasa dance, and he who describes these activities, attains to the perfectional stage of devotional service and simultaneously loses material lusty desires. And now, Shamalata is going to conclude. Having showered me with the nectar of Prema Katha, Tulsi's lovely Sakhi left as silently as she had come. It was night, the moon was rising, and my Sakhis deftly led me into the dressing room. I was in a daze, remembering Radha's love box. Magga, Champa, and Neela bathed, dressed, and ornamented me. Normally, while preparing to meet Hari, I would be so excited I could think of nothing else. But now I could think only of the innumerable jewels in Radha's divine treasure chest of love. Navasakhi, dear reader, take these ornaments and decorate yourselves. You will taste unending bliss, all your sorrow having ceased. The golden setting of love's jewels is prema, but this gold shines as if it were smelted 100,000 times. These words are surely true. Radha's stubborn moods are the dark sapphires found on almost every piece of that jewelry, and Radha Krishna's oneness is the inlaid emerald necklace at the bottom of the chest. The passions of Radha's love are those red coral bracelets, and her peerless Mahabhav, the diamond that blinds us with its glitter. No need to fear thieves. Should someone try to plunder this wealth, the purity of prema protects it. The ecstasy of meeting and the ecstasy of separation are those twin anklets, one made of moonstone, the other sunstone. They are like one ornament. The glory of prema as it shines through the windows of the eyes is the brilliant glow of the love box. Prema is selfless, but the ego of love makes these jewels move by their own will and in the same way select their own patrons. Just see, Radha's unique ability to control Krishna is that thick golden chain. It can be placed on either the waist or the neck. That solid diamond belt, the best ornament of all, is by far supreme. It is Radhika's own love. When she wears that belt, she wears 2 bracelets, one black crystal and the other special ruby. When her tears of love mix with kajal, they are black crystal, and when they again mix with the kumkum from her breast, they are rubies. The myriad hoops, bracelets, rings, and studs are the Sakhi's love. Are they not wonderful? And there, that heavy lapis armband, its swirling colors ever changing. Sakhi, you are correct. That is Shama's prema. That is Sham's prema, unique and inimitable. The ornate enamel work covering this brooch is the deceptive nature of prema, which often masks itself as lust. The gopis' love songs, such as Jayati Te Dikam, are those sweetly tinkling ankle bells, and that bejeweled 100-petaled play lotus is the mystery of the rasa dance. Hari's enigmatic talks of love are that crystal ball. From any angle you look, it always appears different. See that locket? That is the constancy of Sri Krishna's love for Radha. He always wears it on his heart. Friends, by your great fortune you have seen some ornaments from Radhika's love box. But time calls. Now I shall replace all the jewels, one by one. There, it is done. The lid of the love box is the secret nature of prema. When closed, prema becomes invisible. You see? Gone. I have narrated to you the things I learned that day by the grace of Sri Radha. Although she appears to be just another gopi of Raj, you should know her to be unique. Sri Krishna is the supreme deity of rasa, and Radhika is the supreme goddess of love. Together, Radha Krishna are the worshipped, and all the gopis of Raj are their worshippers. Although Chandravali is said to be second only to Radha, know for sure that she too is the worshipper of Radha. The moods and pastimes of Raj only make it appear that she is her competitor. Navasaki, what I heard from my own pure heart, from the Kalpavriksha by the Yamuna, the parrot Shuka, Sri Tulsi Sakhi, Vrindavan Dham, and by the influence of Krishna's prasad, I have related to you. Thus you can understand the nature of prema. Look into your own heart. In time you will realize these things. When your love has matured, you too will take your place as a manjari in my yuta. Then you too will help me serve Hari. What? Yes, Radha also. We are not her competitors, but her friends. That is the blessing of fate. If need be, we make way for her service to Sri Krishna. Still we serve him in our own ways. After all, they have willed it to be so. Now come, it is late. The afternoon shadows have touched the courtyard. We have been undisturbed by the grace of Yogamaya. Return to your places, and we will meet once again. Hari Hari. So that's the end of the 3rd chapter of the 3rd part. That basically is the end, but there's an epilogue, which perhaps we shall read tomorrow. But tomorrow's a Gaur Purnima, so I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be. It may not be possible to read. If Krishna so desires, we shall read the epilogue tomorrow. If not, may you all remember Krishna and Radha Krishna and be happy in Krishna consciousness on Gaur Purnima, praying the lotus feet, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai, who gave us this Ujjvala Rasa, who gave us access to Radha and Krishna's Madhurya Lila. Without them, we would have none of this. We wouldn't be here reading, we wouldn't have these books, we wouldn't have these blissful pastimes. So, very grateful to Krishna for coming as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and giving us, instructing us, inspiring from within the hearts of his disciples, the 6 Goswamis, and their followers too, these beautiful eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and also for giving us the process of chanting Hare Krishna and so that we can have access to them and gradually gain the purity to enter deeper and deeper into them. And like my friend Krishna Priya, to one day be reinstated in those pastimes in the divine spiritual realm of Goloka Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.